Are y'all tired of all the negativity? I mean, sometimes I get sort of bogged down in the hopeless nature of some of the stories that we see surrounding law enforcement on a daily basis. So we're going to try and start breaking that up a little bit where we can, based on the suggestion of some of my subscribers. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Southern Draw Law. My name is James White, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor, former police officer. For a couple months now, I've had people either write emails or make comments in the comments section asking me to consider doing more content that highlights good police officers. Now, I haven't done it because, quite frankly, there just aren't that many interactions that we see on YouTube where police officers are doing the job the right way. But I did come across this video last night and I figured I would throw it up, see what you guys thought about it, and I am considering making it a consistent series that I'm going to call Good Cop of the Week. So every week that I'm able to find a video of a good cop doing the job the right way, I'll do a short video showing the interaction and giving credit where it's due. With that, our video today is posted by a YouTube channel called Forever Free, and it features a traffic stop by a Tennessee Highway Patrol trooper right here in my home state of Tennessee. Now, I haven't made any substantial edits to the video with the exception of removing some of the foul language, but if you want to see the video in its entirety, I'll leave a link in the description for the original poster. Let's check it out.
Hey.
For Ellison, Tennessee Highway Patrol, reason I pulled you over, you don't have your seatbelt on.
Yeah, it doesn't work right now. We just got this car going.
Okay, what do you mean it don't work?
Like, it doesn't latch over here.
Doesn't latch?
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter to seatbelt.
So, it doesn't latch in the thing.
Okay, you got your license, registration, and insurance on you?
Oh, yeah. Here's this.
And then do you have insurance?
I don't have insurance. We're going to be getting insurance because we just registered this car and
Okay, you don't
we've
have
got to get it.
to talk so much.
Okay. Alright, just sit tight for me. I'll be
Okay.
right back, okay?
All right.
You don't have to talk so damn much.
I can't afford a ticket.
Well, you don't have to talk. That's what's going to get you a ticket. You just shut up. It doesn't matter. You don't damn talk.
No more seatbelt program.
Then get over this seatbelt. We don't have to buckle up. It's not a privilege to fucking drive. People that think it's a privilege to drive is dumb as fuck. These fucking damn pigs can go off.
Okay, so my first observation is that Trooper Ellison has a very professional and polite approach when he initially makes contact with the driver. The passenger, who I believe is the person who either owns or runs this channel, is just a peach. When the trooper tells the driver the stop is for a seatbelt, I believe what I hear is the passenger mumbling boo-hoo. Then when the driver is explaining to the trooper that the seatbelt doesn't work, the passenger is still mumbling stuff about how it doesn't matter, it's a seatbelt. This is an important moment to highlight. You see Trooper Ellison take notice of the passenger's disposition. He looks directly at him, but he doesn't react. We've all seen how this normally goes, right? I mean, as soon as either the driver or the passenger starts mouthing off, a lot of police officers get their egos twisted up and start ordering people out of the car. Trooper Ellison does the opposite of that. He doesn't need to de-escalate because he shows us evidence of what we all know to be true, and that is that generally, it's the officer's response to the pushback that is the cause of the escalation. So without an improper response, escalation doesn't happen. So Trooper Ellison goes back to the cruiser to deal with the traffic stop. Now, the driver here did admit to Trooper Ellison that she doesn't have insurance. The general rule is that you don't have to answer an officer's questions, but if you choose to answer, the answer should be truthful, because most states have some sort of a false report or false information charge that can be levied against you for actually giving false information to a police officer when that officer is making a legitimate inquiry. Now, I have my opinions about those, but it really doesn't matter. But the point is, the best strategy is to remain silent, or say you're invoking your right to remain silent. But if you're gonna speak, Don't lie. Now, you have to pick your battles with this, because if there's no real chance that you're going to be incriminated any more by saying something than you would by just not being able to produce an insurance card, there really isn't much of a difference. If the officer asks you, do you have insurance? The best response would be either the truth, like what she did here, or that you don't have an insurance card you can provide. Now, how you handle the police should be basically determined by whether or not you're in the wrong. If you're in the wrong, like this lady driving with no insurance and your seatbelt doesn't work, and you start giving the police officer a hard time, more than likely you're going to have your car towed. Being hostile to the police when you're being unjustly treated or profiled, or you've been stopped unlawfully, that's one thing. Being hostile to the police just simply because you hate the police is not a good idea when you're wrong, and when you're obviously wrong and you don't really have a good legal defense. So just because you can do something doesn't mean that you actually should. And if you're wrong, you should start trying to figure out ways that you can try to mitigate the damage that will flow from that. You'll notice that the passenger begins to be verbally aggressive towards the driver. He's got all kinds of thoughts about the police and what they can do and what they can't do, and about people who don't think the way he thinks. But you'll also notice he really reminds me of the kind of guy who doesn't say anything to anybody, but he says whatever he thinks behind a keyboard, or he tries to browbeat other people over whom he might have influence into doing things or taking positions that he wishes he had the courage to take, but he doesn't actually do it. You'll notice that as the stop continues, his courage in talking all that shit seems to dissipate when the officer makes his way back to the window. So let's see how the stop ends, and then we'll come back and close it out.
Turn the car off. Hell, I gotta go here anyway. There the tyrant comes.
Hey, look, it's Wayne.
Okay, so here's your information back. There's also a copy of this, okay? I just wrote you a citation for the insurance, okay?
Okay.
I didn't write you for the seatbelt because if it don't work, there's not much you can do other than try and fix it, okay?
All right.
But your insurance, you've got court the 23rd of April at 9:30 in Bristol, Tennessee. I recommend getting some kind of insurance before going.
So just show proof?
Yes, just to show proof, okay? If it's on the bottom left, if you go to court and you don't have proof of insurance, they can suspend your license, okay? So just make sure you get any kind of insurance, whether it's liability, full coverage, something to show you have insurance, okay?
All right.
But do you have any questions?
I don't.
All right, you all drive safe.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so again, I honestly think this was like close to a perfect traffic stop. 5 minutes, in and out. He could have very easily towed the car. There's an argument to be legitimately made that if a police officer knows for sure that you don't have insurance because you just told him, like this lady did, and he lets you drive away, anybody that you run into or any injuries that are a result of you having an accident, there could be a derivative suit levied against the police department for allowing you to drive the vehicle away. So he could have very easily towed the car. He could have gotten his ego all twisted up over what the passenger was saying. He could have given exit orders and done all the things that we hate that cops do when there's no reason to do it. He didn't demand anybody's ID in the car. He didn't start ordering people out of the car. Like, he didn't call a K9. He didn't treat anybody like a criminal. He didn't ask the search. He didn't really treat anyone with anything less than the utmost respect. And he didn't even cite the seatbelt. What I like even more is that he was very polite in advising her of the way this works and where she's going to have court and all that stuff. And he tells her something very important. If you go to court and you still don't have insurance, they can suspend your driver's license. That's not a can, guys. That's a will. That's really important to tell people. If you get to court, the truth is that if you didn't have insurance at the time of the traffic stop, you're technically in violation. And if you go in and you plead guilty straight up to that charge, at least in Tennessee, your license will be suspended. It automatically happens. However, most courts don't take that approach. As long as the person proves they have insurance by the court date, most courts will dismiss dismiss the case. This is all sort of flowing into, should I give the cops a hard time if I'm in a vulnerable position? You don't want the cop to have a motivation to prosecute you or a reason to even remember who you are. So I thought it was great that Trooper Ellison told her about what could happen to her driver's license and put in her mind that this could probably get straightened out if you just get insurance by the time court comes around. Again, this lady did a pretty good job of ignoring her passenger. She handled the stop pretty well, despite the fact that the knucklehead beside her was trying to cudgel her into doing something that he didn't have the sack to do, which was to be shitty to the police officer for no reason. If you don't have proof of insurance or you don't have insurance, the end result's going to be the same. You're going to get a citation for having no proof of insurance or no insurance at all. The difference is that if you're hostile, you're probably getting your car towed on top of it, and a host of other consequences that we've all seen could potentially flow from having a back and forth with the police. So that is actually a perfect segue into my closing argument. So in closing, I got into a funny discussion a couple weeks ago with one of my original subscribers in the comment section. I used to watch this YouTuber that he branded himself as the Boon County Ninja. His name's Diamond Dave, and he's hilarious. He's from the hills of West by God, Virginia. Now again, he branded himself as the Boon County Ninja. If you've never been to Boon County, West Virginia, don't go, but just understand that you have to have sort of seen the place in order to understand that it's a special place. But Diamond Dave, as the Boon County Ninja, always had this thing that he said, among other hilarious things, but he would say, don't go ninja, nobody don't need ninja. In other words, pick your battles. Don't start a fight that doesn't need to be started. And, don't use your specialized ninja skills on people that don't need to have it used on them. So I've kind of adopted a derivative of that saying, and I say, don't go lawyering anybody that don't need lawyering. Again, there's a valid argument to be made that this car could have for sure and maybe should have been towed from the scene instead of allowing somebody that you knew to have insurance drive away and potentially risk, having an accident that they can't afford to pay for and damages to a driver. So he would have been justified in towing this vehicle, but he chose not to do that because he wanted to be kind to the driver. So just because you know the law and you know how to respond and handle the police, it doesn't mean that you actually have to be hostile. Sometimes the best thing to do is just be polite, and maybe, just maybe, you'll run across somebody like Trooper Ellison here and you'll get treated decently and get a bit of a break. I do appreciate the fact that Trooper Ellison's treatment of this family was appropriate, and I think he should be commended for being polite and professional and for giving other officers a good example of what a simple traffic stop should look like. You should be in and out 5 minutes, run your stuff. There's no reason to investigate somebody for the Kennedy assassination because they didn't have their seatbelt on. So Trooper Ellison did a good job and should be commended for it. That's all for this one, guys. Thanks for sticking it out. Please remember to like and subscribe and leave me a comment on the video. Let me know whether or not you want me to continue to do good cop content. Check out some of the other videos on the channel. Leave me a comment on there as well. Until I see you again, take care. Always film your interactions with the police and keep your evidence to yourself.